Something is really wrong. The engine's still there. Is this just Honda quality these days? Come on, get me home, come on.
So check out what I found. Buy a Honda, they said. They're reliable, they said.
Well, hello and welcome to Cheek's Will Ride. I'm Will Cheek, and I'm finally getting out of the house after a few weeks of trying to lay back and rest and rehab my back injury. But today I'm finally out. I got a few objectives, but the first one is food, because I am hungry. One of my favorite spots is this Neon Moon. I just love eating in this school bus. What can I say? When you come here, you gotta get the Moon fries. Fries with cheese and barbecue sauce and pork, pulled pork. Yeah. Oh man, that is good stuff. Okay, something is really wrong with the monkey. Lost a ton of power. Listen, this thing's only got 9 horses in the stable. We can't let any of them escape. And now I've got to check engine light. I'm just trying to make it to the pull off up here. But it's going to take a while at 30 miles an hour and decelerating for every hill. I can imagine what could be going wrong. I haven't changed anything with the intake or the exhaust. You know, I did just get gas. I'm always suspicious if you have engine troubles right after getting gas. I noticed it a little bit right before I got to Neon Moon, but it's just gotten worse. Now I have a check engine light. What do I need to read that code? Because I checked and the engine is still there. I need to read the code. I don't know if I need an OBD2 scanner or what. I have an OBD2 scanner, just not on me. We got cars starting to pile up behind me. 38 is all we can do. 38. Let me go over the mods I've done, maybe so I can figure out what I may have messed up. Mechanically, all I've done was down one front sprocket. And to accompany that, I installed a speedometer calibrator. But that just like wired into the speedo sensor. I'm not really sure how that could beat me down on power. Maybe I'll get up here and I'll unplug that to see if that makes a difference. If I can even make it to the pull off. Come on, artist point, come on. Oh, look at that, 39, 40, oh, downhill, here we go. Another modification I made was some stiffer rear shocks. Got the TB parts shocks for a smoking deal. And they have preload adjustable. They're oil damped. I tried to set the sag, but even with my heavy 215 pounds, the preload adjuster is all the way backed off and still didn't get as much sag as I would have liked. So you know they're beefy springs. Oh boy. 30 miles an hour now. I got the CarPlay Motorcycle P7 CarPlay screen. You may have seen this before because I did a review on it before, comparing it directly to the Carpy Ride. Got that off the shelf. I was going to put the Carpy Ride on here, but that beefy mount that has that quick disconnect just wouldn't give me the angle that I wanted here. This turned out really good. If you want one of these for your bike, check the description. I've got discount codes. I installed this USB charger. I've unplugged this to see if it was some sort of battery draw, and that didn't make any difference. Bar and mirrors. I ditched the front rack. I got this sweet headlight cowl on there. Yeah, and that's it. I don't know what the heck. Yeah, I wanted to get to this spot because it's at least a good view while I'm broke down. It smells hot, but you know, it's also just, it's still a new bike. It's only got not even 700 miles on it, so it's still got that new bike exhaust smell. Let's see if I can take the side cover off and Mess with the wiring where the speedo calibrator plugged in. While I'm here, let's check out this view at Artist Point. Used to come here every weekend on sport bike because it's a good sport bike road. Oh yeah, that's the view. Okay, I disconnected that speedometer calibrator. See what it does now. Starts and idles normal. Still have a check engine light. Seems normal-ish. No, it's not really bogging, it's sort of surging. It's not making any noise. No suspicious noises, but yeah, I mean, I can't even accelerate consistently. I just can't think of what I could have done to mess it up. Even if it was the speedometer calibrator, it just kind of wires in line and adjusts the signal. Can't imagine that would affect power. I can feel it kind of surging and wanting to go, and there's plenty of slack in my brake lever. There's no tension there like it's a brake dragging. Kind of feels that way, but when I actually apply the brakes, they feel normal. And if it was the brakes, I don't think I'd have a check engine light. Come on. Come on. Is this just Honda quality these days? Get a check engine light in 700 miles? Thought this was KTM things. Why is this acting like KTM? My Husqvarnas are better off than this. Come on. We'll pull over back up here and see if I can Google real quick how to read check engine light code on a Honda Monkey. It's probably gonna need a reader of some sort of dongle. Remember OBD1 when you could just touch two pins together and the light would blink a certain pattern to give you the code, and you'd look up the code and tell you what was wrong? Well, it's kind of funny. I looked it up after making that joke about OBD1 style code checking where the light flashes on the dash, and you actually can do that with this. But you got to take the seat off and a couple things, so I'm just going to try to limp this thing home and do it in my shop. I think it's dumb that you have to have tools to take the seat off. And yes, I do have the tools to take the seat off, but didn't the original like mini trails have just a lever under the seat and the seat rotated up on a hinge? Yeah, they should have done that with this. That would have been way better. I could have accessed everything I needed to look at doing that, but instead I gotta get tools out, and yeah. I'm just gonna limp it home and do everything at home. Oh boy. We are slowing down, going downhill at full throttle. I was hoping to take this thing to do the Ozarks Moto Challenge soon, but I don't know if I can trust this thing now. Oh man, whatever's going on here is getting worse right now. I'm full throttle and decelerating on the flat ground. Well, I didn't think I was gonna make it up that hill. Spitting and sputtering now. Come on. Okay, first gear. $16 miles an hour, full throttle. Come on. Come on. Uh-oh. Oh man. Oh boy. I am close to home, but not close enough. Come on. And it died. Come on, get me home, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Well, this ride's been a bust. Let me see if I can get this thing in the shop and see what's wrong with it. Okay, so I found the jumper to make the check engine light blink so I could figure out the code. It was underneath the side panel. I didn't even need to remove the seat. If I jump the blue and the green and then turn the key on, the check engine light should blink. Look like two codes. Look like 7 quick, 2 long, and 1 short. I'll figure out what that is. Okay, so I got a code 7 and a code 21. The code 7 is engine oil temperature sensor. Now, if you look closely, right here, that looks like it is messed up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just guessing that's not right. And the code 21 is an oxygen sensor. I haven't been able to locate the oxygen sensor. I know what an oxygen sensor looks like, and I don't see one. This has the stock exhaust, so... Okay, I think I found it. I think it's that sensor right there, but it's not in the exhaust pipe, near where the exhaust exits, but not in the exhaust pipe. I think that's it, even though I've never seen it. I mean, the spark plug is up there. That's got to be it. I don't see anything wrong with this one. You can see on this mark on the side case from the previous owner did some damage. Probably at the same time damaged this engine oil temperature sensor. Okay, well, I'm gonna order a new engine oil temperature sensor, but I'll reset the codes for now. I'll put it back together. I'm really curious how quickly the codes come back. No check engine light. Uh-oh. That won't even rev up. Okay, so it's the next day. I called my local Honda dealership this morning, and they said, yeah, we don't have it, but we can order it. So I ordered it. Engine oil temperature sensor, that one's definitely cracked, so hopefully that should fix that. But I had the Norton up on the lift. I'm installing the new Aochi CarPlay GPS dash cam setup system, and I had a thought, why don't I just look down into the fuel tank to see if I can see anything? So check out what I found. So when I bought this bike, I noticed some rust and corrosion around the top ring here, and I thought, really, Honda? Your fuel tanks are rusting after only a few years old? But now I'm looking down in there. I don't know if I can get a light in there, but you can see it's rusted all down in there. So I'm really thinking maybe my fuel pump and fuel system is full of rust and corrosion. I'm about to take it apart and see. All right, see if I can open up this fuel tank and dump it out without making a total mess. To me, that looks like regular gas. Maybe a couple particles in there. Definitely gritty. What is all this black stuff? So I've been trying to get some of the loose rust out of this tank, and you can see a sample here. I feel like I'm panning for gold.
Order new whole pump assembly. I took apart the fuel injector, cleaned it out. I'm satisfied with how clean it got. Went to put it back together, tore the O-ring. I called the local Honda dealer. We don't have it, but we can order it. So I ordered it, $20 for one O-ring. Buy a Honda, they said. They're reliable, they said. Buy a Honda, they said. Parts are plentiful. Parts are cheap, they said. So I ordered about 2 gallons of this Evapo Rust stuff. The internet says it's exactly what I need to get rust out of my tank without damaging the steel inside the tank anymore. So we'll see. All right, so it's a couple days later. I got the pump. I got everything I need. I'm gonna pour in some of this Evapo Rust and leave it sit overnight for 24 hours. See if I can get rid of some of that rust.
All right, that thing is full now, and I'm going to put this pump back in there just to seal it. Got this plugged off, this plugged off. See what happens. All right, it's been 24 hours. Let's dump this tank out, see what we got. So how did it do? Well, I am pretty impressed. Did it get all of it? No. Is it way, way, way better than it was? Definitely. I'm impressed with how well it did, and I'm satisfied to go ahead and, yeah, get it all dried out and line it up and reinstall it. Well, that's a positive result. I'm pretty happy with that so far. I got it all installed and started up. Sounds pretty good. I'm gonna finish putting it all together maybe tomorrow, maybe take it for a test ride tomorrow, we'll see. So far, so good. All right, first ride after getting it fixed and back on the road. I just got some fresh fuel in it. I can already tell by just getting here that it is way, way better. I'm gonna do a little more testing, get some more confidence in it. I mean, it starts easier, idles smoother. A little vibration in the skid plate makes it sound bad, but the engine is running smooth. I can't wait to get it on some real dirt to get a good test of these new, stiffer rear shocks. I can already tell it's holding the bike up and not bouncing as much. Yeah, this video is filmed over the course of almost a week, just from waiting on parts to come in and working on it in the evenings after work. Did not expect it to be a shop video. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more than that or less. Yes, I mean, I think it's running better now than the day I bought it. Probably had already started to clog up the fuel system when I bought it. It's a lot livelier. It's still only 9 horsepower, but it's a lot livelier than it was. There's the cops. Hope he's not looking for a fat guy on a little bike. Well, that's where this week's video is going to end. I got to hurry up and get back because I am loading up, heading to Colorado tomorrow. If you're still watching, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.